As I woke up this morning, I had a list of things that I could make a lesbian answers video about. None of them seemed quite right, but we're going to do something different today. So today, this isn't just for the people that are struggling with sexuality. This is for everyone, for everybody that needs it right now in their life. We're going to talk about how we can stay hopeful. Most of us that seek out videos like mine or videos that give advice are naturally either alone, or even if they're in a relationship, they feel as though they're alone. This is not uncommon, seeing as that 99% of the population feels like they are misunderstood. The reason why they feel misunderstood is because, well, people don't really understand themselves. Most of us feel different. In our minds, we perceive ourselves as being separate from the world that is around us. We look at other people and feel as though we can only relate by personality traits and not so much by what we are thinking or what we are feeling. Because of this, we have this perception of ourselves that we will be alone. That in the end in our lives, that we will not really be able to find the person that we're supposed to be with or the person that we're going to be with, and we are going to end up unhappy and alone by ourselves for the rest of our lives. I want you to look at your situation this way. There are billions, trillions of people on this earth right now. Every single person is individually different than the next person. There are so many different types of people that obviously not everyone is going to connect. In fact, most people that you meet in your life, you're not going to connect with in a relationship type of situation. If you did, well then you would constantly be wanting to date every single person that you ever met in your entire life. So with that mindset, it's obviously going to be very rare that you're going to come across somebody that you could be compatible with. This means that there's going to be long spaces of time in between you meet somebody where you're going to feel alone. And that is simply because you haven't met the right person. It just means it sucks being alone until you do meet that person that you're going to be with. The fact of the matter is, it's unrealistic to think of yourself as always being alone just because you have yet to meet the person that you are compatible with. Sometimes when we feel upset or we feel alone, we forget our circumstances. And what's important to remember about circumstances is that circumstances change. You're in high school. People that are in high school, they're too immature and selfish to be in a relationship. You simply have to wait till you get out of high school. You're living at home. You're going to college. You can't really afford to have your own apartment. When a person lives at home, they are often tied to their family and their parent. Because of this, they don't have a strong desire to really reach out and go out into the world and experience meeting other people, i.e. clubbing, going to hangouts, parties, concerts, etc. Somebody stays at home, they really have a stay-at-home kind of life. This keeps them from meeting other people. You're not always going to live at home. You are insecure. You don't feel like you're good enough, you don't feel like you're worth something, and every day you wake up and it's a challenge to find the means to drag yourself out of bed that day. What happens when you're insecure is you put up this wall. You put up this wall because you are afraid of people recognizing the fact that you are indeed insecure, and your number one goal is to try to hide it. The problem with putting up a wall is this also blocks you from meeting and experiencing new people. If you're waking up every day thinking, I want to find someone, I want to find someone, I want to find someone, but then you're completely miserable inside yourself, you're probably not going to find someone, simply because you got to work on yourself first. If you're an insecure, unhappy person and you get into a relationship thinking that this relationship is now going to make you happy, that's not how it's going to go. When you're an insecure person and you're unhappy and you get into a relationship, you just make that opposing person unhappy. And it just becomes this unhealthy, overly attached relationship where two people are miserable and unhappy. Work on yourself. Start doing things. Think about the things that you wish you could do. Man, I wish I could get my license. Man, I wish I could play an instrument. Man, I wish I hung out with my friends more. Man, I wish I exercised. I wish I lost some weight. I wish I this. I wish I that. Start doing those things. And when you individually find that substantial way to give meaning to yourself, you're going to be ready to be in a relationship with somebody else. Finally, I want to point out a misconception that everybody seems to think, even myself at times, that I have to literally stop myself from thinking this way. I'm unhappy because I'm not with somebody. Happiness can be taken from a lot of different situations. It can be taken from the love that you feel from your friends, or the thing that you love to do, creating music, dancing, playing sports, drawing. Happiness could come from a song that you hear on the radio, or it could come from a moment or a memory that you like to look back on. A lot of people think that all their happiness comes from a certain source. In their mind, they believe that they are unhappy simply because they are alone. What you have to understand is that happiness shouldn't come from a human being. If all your happiness came from somebody that you met and fell in love with, well then what happens when that person dies? Or what happens when that person leaves you? Well, then you're miserable all over again. You cannot look to another person to provide you with happiness. The way to stay hopeful is to learn how to be happy on your own and not from somebody else. Now, that person can give you happiness, but what's wrong is for that person to be the whole source of your happiness. Think about the person that you're going to be with. Let's say I'm that person. Let's say, we meet each other and now you're miserable and you're unhappy and now you're in a relationship with me, and all of a sudden I am the source of all that is happy and all that is good in your life. What kind of a responsibility does that give me? How much pressure does that make me feel? And how much weight does that put on my shoulders, knowing that you need me constantly and I'm your biggest support system and I'm your lifeline? That's too much, not only for me, but for any person. You can make it through. You just have to learn how to gain that self-independence. That is the key to be able to opening yourself up to the possibility of finding somebody that you could be incredibly happy with. That is it. Real quick, I had a fan in Germany send me some German candy in my P.O. box, and there are no words to explain how good the candy is. Why is it that America doesn't make candy like this? I've pretty much eaten 90% of this candy that has been in this box. Honestly, I think I have like one thing left. So thank you. I also received a really awesome picture from a person named Courtney. She does all these really cool drawings and paintings. So her thing is CourtneyWhite.tumblr.com and CourtneyMakesStuff.com. So check her out. She's really awesome. I receive a lot of mail. I don't really have time to show all the wonderful, wonderful things that people have sent me, but I really appreciate you guys sending me stuff. It makes my day, and it really does give me that encouragement. If you want to send me something, my P.O. Box link will be down below. I check it about once a week, and I love to see anything that you guys have to send. Have an absolutely fabulous day, and please keep staying hopeful. That I really want you guys to look into. The first one really corresponds with this video. It's called One Day, and it's a little video that I made about just getting through the day and valuing what life is. The other video, which will be over here, that I want you to watch is a cover that I did with a guy named Chris Camiso. And he is a wonderful, wonderful person, an amazing singer, and we did Just the Way You Are. The final video, which will be over here, is my cover of G6, which was so much fun to play. Anyway, so those are your three options. Click it, check it out, and comment. Thank you so much.